you don't gauge people with what they have in between their legs, but what they have in between their ears.
Right.
Somebody being good in bed doesn't mean they're good spouses.
Yeah.
So when you get into the relationship and maybe even into marriage, you realize there's no intimacy. We were only gauging our body levels with 3 minutes of heavy breathing. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. How you doing? I mean, how's your family? How's your day? How's your work? How's your schooling and everything? I'm doing so fine, and we are very glad to have you here today. And we are going to be discussing so many good things, especially those things you keep on hearing out here that you feel are true and they aren't. But before we get there, I want my fellow host to introduce himself. Karibu sana.
Duga Prince over here, ready for your favorite show, Decoding the Process.
Wow, karibu sana. It's been a while
Asante.
since you are the two of us again.
Yeah.
Unajua tukiwa wawili, there is something good dropping today.
Yep,
so
yep.
you have to be there to the end. So today we are discussing something very, very important. Can you please tell us?
All right. Now, in our previous conversations, we are still doing well on relationships. And it has come to our notice, and as we're moving around, there are so many things that have been saying. There are so many things that have been misinterpreted. There are so many issues that young people have misinterpreted in relationships, and we have noted that there are so many myths that have come up in the issues of love or in the areas of love and relationships. So today we want to delve on myths on relationships. Yep.
Wow. I mean, that's a very, very interesting topic. There are so many things we hear out here and we subscribe to, and they are not necessarily true. Just because it's widely accepted, just because your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, your deskmate, your whatever person you really trust subscribes to that, doesn't mean it's true. And that is why we are here to demystify some of these truths, bring them on the table and discuss them and help you see why they are myths. And of course, we might not mention everything, but we are going to mention a few which are very common. So yeah, I mean, please do the first myth.
Okay, as we move around, as we get to interact with the young people, them that are in relationships, people that are in marriage, people that are preparing to get into marriage, one of the myths that has been there is that that in any relationship, that each one of us should give 50. So a relationship should be 50-50. That is, you give 50, I give 50. So whenever people get into a relationship, that you'll find that every person wants to give 50. But that one is a myth. Yeah. I want us to, from today, to understand that in any relationship, you give your all. You give your 100.
Exactly.
That is, you give your 100%. There is nothing like 50-50, because the other 50, what are you leaving it for? So every relationship, every person should give their 100. Their 100, the other person 100. So that now you can get, because you must give it your all, any kind of a relationship. So it's a myth that in a relationship you give 50-50. Still on the same, we have in relationships, we have had people being lied to, or being told that the moment you are in a relationship, then you have to give into sex so that you can sustain the relationship. I want to put it very clear that sex is not a board in a relationship. And it will never be. The moment you give into sex, then that one is not an indicator that that relationship will survive. Yeah. So you have had young people being lied to. For this relationship to survive, then you need to give into sex, which is not the truth. Yeah. It is not. The moment you give into it, actually, in some instances, you will appear very cheap. In other instances, to some other people, you will appear, you may not even be pleasing to them after that. So these are some of the things that we are getting into.
And in addition, of course, to the last point as we progress, I mean, I think there's somebody who says you don't gauge people with what they have in between their legs, but what they have in between their ears.
Right.
So if you start going to the bedroom to do your analysis,
Yeah.
you of course get the wrong analysis, because somebody being good in bed doesn't mean they're good spouses. So we need to get the whole scope. When we begin to see things that way, and of course when we engage in bedroom matters, it taints the way we think.
Yeah.
We think that because it has released the emotional bond between you, you know, the biology says there is something that is released when you have sex. So of course you connect with that person and you feel you're connected to somebody who actually you aren't connected to.
Yeah.
So when you get into the relationship and maybe even into marriage, you realize there's no intimacy. We were only gauging our body levels with 3 minutes of heavy breathing. So yeah.
So being good in bed is not being good or being good a good spouse,
Yeah.
a brother. I think that is very true,
Very true.
and we have seen it, and
We
it is
have.
happening,
Yeah.
and it's a myth.
We
that
need to
is
build
still-
other things more than, you know, we want to see six-pack. We think six-pack is what will make you feel good. I mean, there's so much. We need to build a home. We need to build so many other empires. So
Yeah.
if we are building with those things people think about, it's not what actually relationships and marriage is about. It's a very, very wide spectrum. When you come
very
to
wide.
marriage, I keep on saying it's not a reward, it's a responsibility. It's now the real life and mission that has begun for you to do a lot.
Yeah.
So as we advance, I'd say one other myth is we have to move in together to know each other. Of
Yeah.
course, you know, people think that, now how do I marry somebody I've never stayed with? Because people are out here really propagating that kind of, I'm saying that I don't know this person. I don't know who they are. I don't know what to expect when I get there. But one thing that that is a big danger is that it exposes you to the responsibilities of marriage before marriage itself comes in. So of course, all those things that you are doing exposes who you are early before commitment. Just
Yeah.
imagine the risk you're getting into. This man or woman probably loved you,
Yeah.
but the moment you get close without commitment, they have no choice. When they see some weaknesses they cannot deal with, they will of course get over it.
Yeah.
But when you are committed to this person, you realize, I said I do. I have to accept her or him the way he or she is. It's different in those aspects. So it might be challenging, of course, for both levels.
Yeah.
But again, the difference is there's commitment. Wherever you commit to the responsibilities before commitment, of course, everything else is sabotaged. And I normally say that it's for in this case, the woman is here for security. Sometimes they think that they are securing the man because they are doing things for them and they are offering everything, including their body. And of course, the men are always there because of utility. They know I am getting services, as both physical and house chores services, so they like it. So in the end, you realize you can even spend a 5-year relationship doing all those things and that man marries somebody else. So it's a big myth. You don't need to know somebody that way. That other level of knowledge requires a deeper level in intimacy where you have grown enough to accept the other person all around.
Okay, another one is that young people have always found themselves into is that you get into a relationship, then there are so many things that you don't like about a person, and you believe that you can change that person. That is a myth.
Yeah, true.
A person will change when they want, and a human being, the way we are created, they'll change for their good. Actually, they'll not change for other people. And any time that a person is pretending to change for the other person, it's just for a time. And this guy promised, is going to stop drinking. This guy promised, is going to stop taking Miranda, the stuff that is getting into drugs. That will never change. It's a myth. So love the person for who they are. Not because, you believe that they've changed. Somebody is not born again, but you are convinced this person, if I get married to them, then they are going to get born again. You cannot get into a relationship so that now, or rather into marriage, so that somebody can get born again. It is Jesus that saves, not you. True. You cannot change a person. So love the person for who they are, accept them. If you are ready to go with them, with the mistakes, with the weaknesses that they have, then do it understanding that that person will never change. They'll only change for their good,
Yeah.
but they are not going to change
And of
for
course,
you.
ask yourself, probably this man is 30 years old.
Yeah.
If their mother never changed them for all those years, who are you calling to start changing this man?
Eh?
You know, there's one example I give my friends of mine. There's a friend of mine who was telling me that she married somebody who, in the morning, he struggles to wake up completely. This is an example. So she has tried, and it's becoming an issue because, you know, when they say the women are the one who make wanacheleweshanga watu, actually, in this case, it's the converse. I mean, this man always makes this lady late, and she has done everything, including bringing the breakfast mpaka mahali yako. So the man, of course, has that issue of waking up in the morning very early, but is a very, very, good night person. So she told me she got frustrated, but this one day he opened up and said, mimi mama yangu alikuwa ananiamsha na kiboko. Angeniita wana mzima, lakini akikuja na kiboko ndo ninaamka. So if my mother has never changed me all those years, who are you? I mean, you have to accept that, as we hope that things get better. And after that, she got peace. She learned to start waking him up 1 hour earlier, so they never get late.
Okay.
So you see, some things might never change, and especially when you learn to accept somebody, you begin to adjust, and you don't get frustrated when they do something. So yeah, I mean, time is of course going, but we can mention a few others. Yeah. Okay,
I'm getting into that. People think that when you quarrel, or rather conflict in a relationship, is a sign of a doomed relationship. It is not. In fact, conflict will always be there. So it's a myth to think that conflict is a sign of a varying relationship. How people are going to manage their conflict determines whether this relationship is going to survive or not. And there is no a relationship without issues. So every relationship has some issues. But one thing I would also want us to get is that a person can be banned, but they can change through how you're going to manage the conflict in the relationship. So conflicts are inevitable in any relationship, and they are not a sign of a doomed relationship.
However, it can be a myth on this other side, where people are feeling that conflict is part of every relationship, and they make it a norm for problematic relationships to be accepted. I feel conflict is only supposed to be accepted if it's a normal issues that people face, normal, but doesn't have to be extremely, 90% of your relationship is full of conflict. That one is a big...
We have always advocated that on conflicts that you cannot manage, move out before it is too late.
True.
Yeah, so if it's those conflicts that you feel, these now too much, you may be having so many differences, so many things that are good for separating you than putting you together. You don't remain...
You don't really have harmony. So I mean, there's no need for you to have... When you see your relationship, of course, has so many conflicts, peace is... Ukiona iko, unasemanga, hey, thank God. Mungu umeshikilia roho, ukijua maybe anytime from now, conflict might arise. So I mean, your relationship should be full of joy and peace. I mean, even when conflict comes, the way you handle it doesn't have to be, you have to shout above your heads, both of you. Handle conflict even while laughing, and even while smiling. It's only a challenging issue. So the other myth I'd like to mention is relationships do not have rules and principles. Many people out here are busy freelancing in relationships, thinking that relationships work on an autopilot. So you find they think that I'll just enter any relationship, it will succeed by chance, not by principles. But one thing I've come to know, anything and everything, not even relationships, when you're going to school, when you're investing in business, everything works on principles. How to apply the principles is what matters. Maybe one principle I can mention to make it now clearer. Communication is key in any relationship, but that doesn't mean we have to communicate the same way, all of us. The way I communicate to my spouse is different from how you communicate to yours. So the principle of communication remains, only how we apply the principle makes it different. So relationships have principles. People need to understand that they have to even prepare for those things in advance so they can see they have the capacity to handle them once they get there. Because people assume a lot, and that's why many people are even getting issues because they get there and they realize there's a lot of responsibility and things going on beyond what they expected. You know, we only think that relationship is having somebody by my side. I'll enjoy their company, I'll enjoy their gifts and everything, but there is much more beyond that.
Brother, I'm getting that there is no blueprint for a relationship. That means every relationship is original, is unique on its own, and I cannot build up my relationship just like I saw from my friends, from just the way others are doing it. I think that is very true, and I've seen it, and it's happening where people are trying to be, you know, what this relationship or these people are doing, these partners are doing, then you should not emulate. Okay, try to be original in your relationship. There's another myth where you find that young people, when you get into a relationship, you feel that this person will never attract other people any longer. You feel that this one now belongs to me, so she will never attract other people. Whether it's a relationship or it's a marriage, a person remains attractive because a relationship is not death. You know, that person has not died.
Yeah.
You know, they are still glowing. They are still, and glittering. They are still attractive to the world. So it is not evil when somebody is still attracting other people out there when they are in a relationship, because that shows they are still attractive. So hii mambo ya assume that she belongs to me, how can she, other people are still bandu wanamkatia, is not evil.
Yeah.
You know, that shows that that person is still attractive, is still good.
Choice,
you have a good choice.
Yeah.
Unaona, mahali unatembea hivi mpaka unasikia unapita hivi na msichana wako unasikia jamaa anasema mahali safi.
Unaambiwa.
Anakufanyia.
Yeah. And again, not even just them.
Yeah.
I mean, people need to know that feelings don't die even when you get married.
You're right.
I mean, you get married, you'll still see handsome people as a woman. You still see beautiful people as a man. Even married people get attracted to people outside there. But it depends with what you concentrate on. If you follow that feeling, of course, you know the result. But we're not saying that it's going to be wrong for you to even to get attracted. You know, some people even don't stay in relationships because of that. They're thinking, when I even have a boyfriend, I'll never get attracted to any other man outside. You will, of course, but you have to decide, and you have to know what you want, and especially who is the package in what you want, for you to settle clearly and be convicted. I want to, to stick to this kind of person. Yeah.
I'm just getting to another one, a lady who was, informed, and it is also something that is coming into ladies, that a lady is told that if you want to fix this man, get a baby for him, get a baby for this guy so that you can fix him. It's a myth. You cannot fix somebody into a relationship by buy them a car, buy them a house. That one cannot fix any person in any relationship. That tells you that things that are tangible cannot keep any person a day. Buy them this, do this for them. Those things that, you feel that is only, they are going to get that thing, but that will not keep the relationship going.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very, nowadays any people even know how to co-parent. So don't think you will fix any man with a child. Tumepita na hizo times. And people don't care any longer. They can even have 5 baby mamas, 5 baby daddies. Life moves on. So the other myth is follow your heart. It's a big myth. Many people tell you, are you confused? Follow your heart. Let me say that feelings are okay. They are there. But they are not trustworthy. I mean, your emotions might be real, but they are not always right. They're not always right. You might be feeling a good thing, and it's good, of course. But again, are you taking time to see who are you getting attracted to? As in, why am I feeling this way? And sometimes emotions are just because of some, for instance, those who have broken up and they just feel anything. Maybe ni huruma tu wako nayo ndani, wanafikiria ninapendwa. You know, anything can happen, but what I'm just saying is following your heart is a big myth. I mean, you need to go with your head. Most of the times when it comes to relationships, you need to move with your head more than your heart.
Yeah.
Because our hearts, even as the word says, it is very deceptive.
Very deceptive.
I mean, very deceptive. So you have to really walk with your head on top before you lead, let your heart come afterwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes people think that feelings comes first. Feelings are not necessarily always supposed to come first because, again, this person, I mean, feelings are very fickle.
Yeah.
They can be here today, tomorrow they are not there. Even for the person you love with all your mind, heart, your ndoma and guashe. When you love them with all that, there's a day you will feel low about the same person.
Yeah.
So if you really want to trust your feelings to do anything, it is very wrong. It's a very wrong foundation because when the feelings are wrong, that means you will never make the right decision, even when you're in a good relationship. So you need to follow your facts, the facts that are there, and then let feelings flow. Because sometimes even learning somebody more, you begin to, when I know this person, I don't maybe like them, but the more I know them and the facts become real, feelings even come afterwards.
Yeah.
So you realize he's a good person and people become attractive the more you know them. I mean, when somebody seems so courageous about themselves, they look attractive. Hata kama uko umemwona hivyo before. So feelings are very, very deceptive. That is a very big myth. Follow facts. Follow your head. Please let your head go before your heart.
That's very true. These in this generation, where people have been told you should not appear cheap. You should play hard to get. Playing hard to get is not the best approach. It's just a myth. Yeah. Sometimes you are not hard to get, but you get the right person. So playing hard to get is not the best relationship, or is not the best approach, or rather the best way to behave in the form of a relationship. When you feel that I'm of age, I feel that I qualify, I'm good, I'm ripe, it's my time. Don't be so hard to get. Sometimes when you are so hard to get, you be hard even to yourself, and you'll never get to the right person.
In short, you will never be gotten. So,
yeah.
So I mean, we have principles, as we've said, that of course guide relationships, and you have to prepare. When you're single, the best thing you can do is to prepare in advance and to get to understand the truths, not the fallacies, because there's so many things outside here. There are things that are trending. There are things that are probably because of culture and tradition. But do you know the truth? Opposed to the trends, the traditions, the truth is what you need to subscribe yourself to. And of course, the truth comes from many basic sources, especially in the Word of God, where you begin to see what is God's nature and His plan for relationships and marriage. And I mean, myths are very many. We should have a part 2 of this. We need to tell these people because there are so many myths outside here. But because of time, I mean, we just have to conclude and move on, because we have to keep you there waiting for another myth.
You're right. So we are glad that's what we handled for today, the myths. And I believe that our young people are learning, and we are moving from one level to another. So this has been Decoding the Process, and we are glad you're watching every Tuesday at 9:45 on Wema TV.